Hello, good morning, and welcome to the AM News. My name is Denisia Pomaije. In our first story, the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association has bemoaned the growing abuse of herbal medicines among pregnant women in the Ashanti region. According to the association, this results in complications during childbirth, leading to high maternal and child mortalities. There's more in the following report.
The Ghana Health Service has described as high the number of women undergoing cesarean section in the country as against spontaneous vaginal delivery. According to the 2022 Demographic and Health Survey released in 2024, a 15% CS rate was acceptable, but the current nationwide cesarean section rate has increased to 21%. The Ashanti Regional Chairperson for the Midwives Society under the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, Ba Amankwa, attributes the trend to the excessive use of herbal medicine.
Even though we are in the 21st century, a lot of people still believe that the traditional medicine is good rather than the orthodox one. So what they do is they first try the traditional medicine, complicate. They say there is a drug known as awomedru. They go for those ones, complicate the labor. There is either a precipitate or a cervical dystocia, then they bring them to the hospital, making it difficult. So it is increasing the CS number rather than reducing it. We want to reduce it, but rather it's increasing it.
Speaking under the team, Midwives, a vital climate solution, she urged midwives to educate pregnant women on the effects of local herbal medicine and protect the health of mothers and children from the impact of climate change.
Midwives are advocates, those on the ground caring for pregnant women and those in the classroom to ensure midwifery informs and center in the strategies to address climate change and its impact on the health and well-being of the woman.
The regional chairman of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association revealed 60% of midwives experience waist problems on retirement due to work-related stress. Jones Efriye Anto called on the government to expedite actions on rural incentives for midwives and nurses.
The research shows that midwives, for instance, because of the nature of work they do, they are one of the most stressed professionals, and they also suffer waist and other bone diseases going into the future when they retire. For instance, it is said that 60% of midwives retire with waist pains because of the nature of the work they do. We want to urge government to expedite action on the rural incentive for midwives and nurses in general, so that what they do extra there will be beneficial to them. The government should be able to define benefit that goes to somebody who sacrifices family and everything to care for people 24 hours in their facility.
Away from maternal health, the newly appointed managing director of the National Investment Bank and NPP parliamentary candidate for Manson Kwanta, Trinebo Akodua Fukuo, is calling the bluff of critics asking him to resign, saying the actors are making hasty conclusions. Mr. Fukuo, who until recently was the deputy MD of the bank, took over from the former MD Samuel Sapon today. But barely 24 hours after he assumed the role, the minority and some civil society groups have called on him to resign. Ranking member on the Committee on Employment, Social Welfare and State Enterprises, Dr. Kwabna Donko, questioned whether the new appointment is to allow the candidates use NIB resources to campaign.
Once he became the parliamentary candidate, he would have resigned his position to concentrate on his political work. That has all happened. How then you go ahead to elevate him to the position of managing director, chief executive of the bank 6 months into an election, and with him as a parliamentary candidate? It goes against the grain. It goes against every good judgment. Are we then saying that we are elevating him for him to use the bank's scarce resources for his campaign? Obviously, if he's going to Manson Kwanta, he will obviously, as chief executive, is entitled to 24-hour transportation. So we think the appointment is bad and it's in poor taste.
And President of Imani Africa, Franklin Kujo, also questioned why the Bank of Ghana approved such an appointment when he will be engaged in rigorous campaigning for political office.
I mean, this whole thing, this is a bank that's struggling. Even if you're not a struggling bank, you think if you're a private bank, you actually treat it this way. Come on, look, this guy is running for fine. He's going to be focused on the next 6 months to get the seat, win the seat. Then he's being asked to be head of an institution that is struggling. I mean, I even wonder why NIB still exists today. I really thought it would have just gone under long ago and subsumed them by some other private. But then this guy is being asked to still be head of the bank. Why? Is it as an insurance or what? He should take a leave. Then if he feels that after running for the election, if he loses, maybe then he should be given an opportunity. But frankly speaking, what happens if he wins? Then what? Then if he wins, then there's a gap. I don't get. But between now and the election, he's not going to be focused and concentrate on the job. This is going beyond politics. This is going beyond politics. I think we should be very serious.
There is an argument that his appointment was approved by the board, and the board must fully be aware of all this. What do you think should be the way forward?
There's no way forward in this man. This complete man, my brother. Let's get to even the man himself. If I were him, maybe I'm not him, I'll recuse myself. I'm running for office for crying out loud. But you see, this is happening because his other colleagues have done it in the past, and in the not too distant past, when this controller, right, also did the same thing, and our own president sat down and looked on, and nothing happened. So they are copying from bad behavior. So there's nothing to be done but commonsensical thing to do. Chief, you cannot do this work and at the same time run for office. This is a critical institution, unless, of course, we are being told the institution doesn't matter.
But Director General of the State Interest and Governance Authority, SIGA, John Buidu, says the calls by the minority are without any basis.
Well, we are all concerned about the health of NIB. Their financial situation is not very good as we speak now. And I will entertain any argument that says that his experience and qualification is incapable of managing and restructuring NIB as we speak now. But for the mere fact that he's a parliamentary candidate begs the question, because we have members of parliament who are ministers. We have some of them holding ministries that are sensitive. We have a finance minister, a member of parliament who will be going for campaign. So I think that they can further come up with other reasons rather than just a substantial election. We even have a vice president who is a presidential candidate. I think that is obviously no more than just being an MD for single entity.
Provide rubbish bins and discipline those who don't comply. That is the resounding tone of residents, traders and passers-by at the heart of the Kwame Nkrumah circle, where filth is not a strange element. They tell Joy News they do their best to sweep and clear gutters, but lack of rubbish bins make their work useless as the garbage collected and gathered ends up on the streets and in the gutters. There's more in today's filth exhibition with Hannah Odami.
The verdict of these residents and traders at the Kwame Nkrumah circle is a sum of many others Joy News spoke to. Yes, they are aware of the filth in which they live and sell, but the solution, according to them, lies in the authorities who have to provide them with rubbish bins.
Circle property had the intent to say,
this place, people choose to throw rubbish anywhere and anyhow. So we need dustbins so that people will find it difficult throwing rubbish on the floor. Just look at how nasty it is to see the heaps of rubbish in the middle of the road. The people from AMA sweep the area, but how the rubbish is collected is not the best. Rubbish containers are needed to keep all garbage collected. Just see how people throw rubbish on the floor, just because there is no dustbin.
That's the average joint to be a more boiler container. Oh, boiler go on, and we're very pretty baby.
Even after collection, The nauseating stench that fills the air in the immediate surrounding is not befitting for a city center. Reason why some are calling for stringent measures to deal with persons who litter the area.
When it rains, you can't even pass by this area because you will see how the rainwater will expose the littered rubbish all over, and the stench from the gutted rubbish is overpowering. I suggest that the policemen stationed under the bridge discipline those who throw rubbish away carelessly.
Because of Bola, government will try for it because everywhere is dirty. When you go to even Accra, Sekuye, I cannot even mention some many places. You see, they are dirty. Maybe just be organized the Zoom Lion, they should be packing it early so that everywhere will be clean. Because when you are using the odor, it can give you some bad cholera or disease. But you know, government should just try to put people around so that they will be monitored everywhere. And people too, they should give people warning. They should not put Gola inside the gutter or the environment. They should keep everywhere clean.
Whilst they wait for governments, perhaps they can take a cue from their fellow traders right opposite them, who have devised a strategy to keep their surroundings clean.
We are a group of traders who have chosen to keep our environment clean. We don't rely on government at all to keep our environment clean. And when we get any of our members flouting the rules, we punish the person to ensure that everyone complies.
Reiterating this is a phone case seller, Lukman Yaya, who is certain a lifestyle change is urgently needed to deal with the daily filth they see.
For me, it's no good. Because the reason why they are putting it there, there's no dash bin. If there is dash bin, they'll put it. If the car come, they'll carry it and go. But because it's not dash bin, some will always tie on the rubber, some don't even tie it, they'll go and just spoil it there. They're supposed to talk to the Zoom Lions to put the dash bin around. If they see somebody putting pure water rubber on the ground, pick it. Or we ourselves can advise ourselves, my brother or my sister, pick the thing, then you keep the place clean. But here, it's no man's land. So anything that you want, you can do and go. So I advise my brothers, my sisters, and let me say everybody, that we should try to keep the country clean as well.
From the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, I am Hannah Odami for joining us.
And now moving on, the Chief Executive Officer of the National Petroleum Authority, Dr. Mustafa Hamid, has urged Ghanaians to embrace the use of LPG products, citing health benefits and reduced risks compared to traditional cooking methods. He noted that women in particular have suffered greatly from the harmful effects of charcoal and other traditional cooking methods. The head of quality control at the National Petroleum Authority, Saeed Kutia, made the statement on behalf of the CEO of NPA at a regional town hall meeting held in Wa on the cylinder recirculation model. Join News' Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
Thank you very much. The National Petroleum Authority, NPA, organized a regional town hall debate on the cylinder recirculation model in the Wa municipality of the Upper West region. The event brought together stakeholders that included traditional leaders, security personnel, and women groups across the 11 municipalities and districts. The debate aimed to educate the public on the new policy, which seeks to bring LPG closer to consumers' doorsteps. Speaking on behalf of the Chief Executive Officer of NPA, Mustafa Hamid, head of quality control at MPA, Ubaidullah Said Kotier, spoke of how the new policy will enhance the safety of LPG usage.
So through this policy, wants to improve the access to LPG and thereby increasing the number of people using LPG, to also deal with some of the safety concerns posed with the current system of LPG distribution, which have sometimes resulted in fatalities that we do not like. So inherent in the policy is also to address LPG safety concerns. For instance, this new policy will have LPG bottling plants. Currently, we have 4 of such plants in place, 1 in Kumasi, 3 in Tema. They will maintain and own the cylinders.
He emphasized the need for Ghanaians to adopt LPG products, citing their health benefits and reduce risks.
LPG is a clean cooking fuel that we need to embrace. Compared to the traditional methods of charcoal, LPG is more healthier to our health. We, particularly our mothers and women, have suffered so long a time with the usage of charcoal and those traditional methods, where particularly the smoke emanating from these cooking practices have suffered or affected their life largely. So we want to entreat to Ghanaians that safety concerns are addressed in this policy, and therefore it is safe, and Ghanaians should therefore embrace it and use it as an alternative.
Our Power Sudan Minister Stephen Yakubu emphasizes the need for MPA to establish a cylinder manufacturing company in the northern belt of the country to promote LPG adoption.
I really don't agree that we should have only 3 cylinder manufacturing companies, and they are all down south. I think it's something that MP will have to relook at it. Why is it that all the time everything is down there? Why is it that the policymakers didn't actually even think that the 5 northern regions, they should set one even in Wa also? So I think that is something that we are not going to take it kindly. I think we should go back and make sure that at least the 5 northern regions, there should be a cylinder manufacturing company also in one of the 5 northern regions. It is not all the time that we as northerners should always wait for things to come from down south. In fact, the companies can be here and also manufactured and sent down south for them also.
The Paramount Chief of Polma, Koro Osman Diwe Nangpada III, chaired the event.
It is also good news for those of us who are advocates in trying to conserve our environment. In recent past, and even as I speak, we are battling with the issue of fast degrading vegetation, even as they already look fragile. The very few trees we manage with as bait to attract rain, to engage in our rain-fed agriculture, have been mauled down and used for charcoal burning.
Reporting for J News, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
And moving on, Chairman of the Ghana Hajj Board, Ben Abdelabanda, has cautioned prospective pilgrims for the 2024 Hajj exercise against the use of unauthorized visas for the purposes of Hajj. This comes in light of escalated concerns about the fraudulent activities of unauthorized agents who mislead would-be pilgrims into traveling to Saudi Arabia without authorization during the Hajj season. He said such unsuspecting individuals risk being arrested, jailed, and in some cases deported. Anna Sabit has more. The following report.
Hajj authorities in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has announced new regulations regarding this year's Hajj exercise, which states explicitly that only pilgrims with Hajj visas will be allowed entry and participation of the exercise, and persons who violate such restrictions may face a ban on future Hajj participation and potential deportation. Chairman of Ghana's Hajj Board, Ben Abdallah Banda, who supervised the exercise last year, says would-be pilgrims are misled by unscrupulous people to travel to Saudi Arabia with visiting visas, subjecting them to trouble.
Thought to the visiting visas, they are misled because, as you do know, they may not even have traveled to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia before. So they don't know the prevailing situation and conditions there. It is only when they get there that they realize that what they were told is not what they think in Saudi Arabia.
The influx of people with non-Hajj visas attempting to embark on the exercise, according to Ben Abdallah, subject Ghanaian pilgrims through inconvenience, as such persons tend to use the limited facilities meant for Ghana's Hajj pilgrims.
That people who don't have the Hajj visas normally cause a lot of inconveniences and challenges to the Hajj board is Mina, where they know that you can't, as an individual, go and rent a tent in Mina. It's not possible. Unlike you can go to any hotel and say you want to book a room. But for Mina, they deal with countries. They don't deal with individuals. Or they deal with companies. They don't deal with individuals. What they normally do is that they come and storm our tents.
Elaborates some consequences one could go through when arrested with non-Hajj visas, and this includes a jail term as stipulated in the laws of the Saudi Arabia.
The consequences for such an act are that you can be arrested, you can be fined, you can be jailed in Saudi, and you'll be deported. You can also be barred from entering Makkah for a certain number of years.
He was, however, quick to emphasize that contrary to claims that embarking on the Hajj pilgrimage with visiting visas are cheap and affordable, such pilgrims in turn spend more due to the number of days they spend in Saudi Arabia.
If you want to go solo by not aligning with the Ghana Hajj board, it's rather more expensive than if you were to go with the Ghana Hajj, because one, as I'm talking, some are trying to leave Ghana for Saudi. You spend more days, and the rooms that you sleep in will be more expensive. You are going to eat for a month or more than a month. It will be quite expensive. Okay? And then you are going to use your own means of transport, which is quite expensive. How do you even get to Mina? It will be very inconveniencing. And you will always be fighting because you fear that if you are caught, you'll be in trouble. That psychological trauma alone is something. And when you are arrested, you can also be punished.
Would-be pilgrims are, however, cautioned to stay away from embarking on the religious exercise with non-Hajj visas in order to stay away from the aforementioned consequences. Reporting for Joy News, Anas Sabit, Accra.
And that's it for AM News. But right after this, we have the news review. We'll be joined by energy analyst Kojo Poku. I leave you in the able hands of Benjamin Akakpo and Sweetie Abochi. My name is Denise Apomaije.